Okay, I'm just going to take a moment, Phil Gawne, and say this is the afternoon after the night before. That was the night that was. How are you feeling after election 2021?
I'm not sure you can print that on the radio. Um, I just thought it was amazing election result. I mean, I'm so proud of the Isle of Man that we've finally begun at least to significantly address the gender gap. I mean, that's absolutely fantastic.
I mean, 10 women in, and it's interesting actually. And a lot of the comment today, particularly to things like the Mannon line, has been don't mention the fact that so many women have got in. It's not relevant, but you know what? I really think it is.
Of course, it's relevant because effectively, I think it was about 10 or 15 years ago, we were second in the Commonwealth. We had the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, all the parliaments around the world. We were second only to Sark in terms of how bad the representation of women were in Tynwald. And within a remarkably short period of time, we've gone to over 40%, and that is fantastic.
Okay, what I'm going to do now is just reveal the fact that we did have our own predictions of who were going to be the winners on the night. This was based on the fact we did these 12 constituency debates, and we judged the performance really. You got 19 out of 24. I've just counted mine up, Phil. I got 20.
Ah, well, I got lots of close thirds that I thought that. One a long way off was Aaron Michael, where I put Duncan Livingston in. But to be fair on me, I live on the other side of the island, and I only based my judgment on how the election meeting went that Manx Radio attended.
Joe, it was such an exciting evening and early morning. I mean, some late declarations though, and I'm guessing obviously the process now from a government point of view is looking how it all went and analysing what worked and what didn't in the same way that we do with our own coverage.
Absolutely, and of course if this were a private sector thing, heads would be rolling by now in terms of the whoever it is that gets the government's message out, because effectively you've got a 40% chance of being re-elected as a minister now. This is with a very professional, well-paid and well-resourced media team. What on earth is going wrong? I mean, that is something pretty serious. So yeah, I think government needs to have a very long, hard look at itself, because, quite frankly, who would want to be a minister? They've changed the financial system in terms of the payment of members. So actually, to be a minister, you only get £5,000 more, which sounds a lot to many people, but when you think your chances of getting re-elected if you take on one of these roles is down to 40%.
There is no doubt, though, that the Crown and Elections team worked really hard to try and promote the general election this time. We haven't really got the full breakdown with regard to voter turnout. I would suggest, though, maybe the early indications don't look that great for a boosted turnout this time.
No, it's generally not been good. That's not clearly that's not down to the cabinet office. The cabinet office clearly can only do so much to influence these things. There's an awful lot more going on here in terms of people switching off from the whole democratic process. But as I say, I think the three core messages for me. The one is the significant increase in women in Keys, which is fantastic. The other is government's obvious abject failure to connect to the people. And the third one, actually, is the return of the Manx Labour Party. They've been out of office for a very short period of time, since David Cretney stepped down, for the first time since they came into being. And, they've got two excellent new candidates in there.
2 out of 3. Gareth Young, though, he wasn't far behind in Garth. There's other questions now on the mind of people, I'm guessing. Who is going to be the next Chief Minister?
And I would be surprised if it's not Alf Cannon. I think Alex Allinson, by getting second, may lose some votes. I think some people will listen to Chris Thomas's view that only those who win their constituency vote should be eligible for this. I mean, that's not the case. It's anyone can stand who's in the Keys, But there will be people who think actually popular mandate is quite important.
In that case, then, June Watterson, in terms of overall votes, got more votes than anybody else last night.
Yes, but I heard him on the wireless this morning, and that did not sound like someone who's gearing up for a chief ministerial campaign. But a classic politician's response. He did give that never say never hint towards the end of his interview this morning.
Time yet, isn't there? I just want to say that there were some really dignified speeches from people and interviews from people like Tim Baker and Ray Harmer last night. I really thought that they did themselves proud. Graham Cregeen as well, because it's a difficult position to be in when you've lost your seat, when you're holding a ministerial office, and you still have to hold that office until the new Council of Ministers is established. And I really think that says a lot about them.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I've already messaged them all and said, if you fancy a pint, I'm there for you.
To commiserate.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, just one other question then. Who is going to be in this new Council of Ministers?
It's hard to say because there's, again, we had a lot of new names in 2016, and there's is it 10 more new names this time?
11, I think.
11. So again, lots and lots of inexperience in the Keys.
But I suppose we have got Jane Paul Wilson and Kate Lord Brennan, who have got political experience, having been MLCs.
Yes, yeah, and I expect that we will have quite a few women in the Council of Ministers for the first time ever.
Well, we shall see. I don't know. I think we're all still running on adrenaline, aren't we? I'm not quite sure what else to say, but it really was an exciting election when it came down to it. Always is in that situation, and you were there really at the coalface. And in your constituency, Tim Glover got in. We saw Stu Peters as well, just showing, I suppose, that if your name is well known, you stand a good chance.
You fancy going for it yourself, Beth?
There's MLC positions coming up. I'm certainly not putting myself forward for that, but that's going to be interesting now as well, isn't it?
Well, yes, yeah, because again, I thought quite extraordinary comments from Chris Robertshaw last night, suggesting that Graham Cregeen, really, with all his experience, should go for this. I mean, he I was really sorry for Graham, but he came bottom of the poll. If MLCs are, I just can't see how someone who's had such a severe battering by the electorate could reasonably be considered. But yeah, who knows who may be the next MLCs.
So what are you going to do with all your time now then?
I've got spuds to dig. Same answer as I gave after the last election.